Hey guys, it's been a while to say the least, and there's many reasons for this. Um, for one, we moved from New York to South Carolina, Charleston in specifically, and we've survived many things so far, including hurricanes, and I'm currently in stitches. There's been many intuitive urges for me to come back and start recording throughout the mess I've been through just for the sake of my soul mission and you guys. And yet, each one, there's been a huge medical thing each week, etc. However, I could not ignore what came to my phone a couple weeks ago. And that is an article written about Al Pacino saying that there is nothing on the other side. And this affected me. And I urge you to stay till the end of this video to really hear why everything happened the way it did and why I'm doing this video. So basically, yeah, I receive an article, stitches and all, and everything and all. There were many pulls and urges to get on here and start recording again for the sake of my audience and for the people. It's not about my audience, but and things would happen one after another. Well, finally, the universe sent me an article that there's no way I could ignore. And a journalist wrote about how Al Pacino wrote about how he's already passed at one point or another, and that there is indeed nothing on the other side. And there is no way, no way I am reading that, letting it get to the public without me weighing in. Welcome to Soul Spy University, where your souls can run free and your minds are free to expand. Today, we will be covering one of the most important topics of your entire life. And I had to ignore. Also, find us on Instagram if you ever want to contact me. But I had to ignore, I had to not ignore, but I had to pay attention to my own feelings. I had a lot of feelings about this, and they all get ironed out in a second. One, why would he want to spread this information, whether he knew it or not? And then I realized it doesn't mean he did want to. This is a journalist writing it. Two, why did the journalist want to? But I allowed humanity. I allowed humanity because what I believe in is that only love exists. Anything we fear, anything we're taking in any other way other than love. This is controversial, but in A Course in Miracles is taught that it is an illusion. And I actually believe that. And please, please stay strong till the end because I have messages, very, very divine messages for anyone that is dealing with the notion of death at any point in their lives, no matter what it is. So, so in A Course in Miracles, we are taught that everything is either love or a call for love. Sorry, technology. And I later, as disturbed as I was about this and how I wanted to spread light of what I know, and I've had a lot of experience with the concept or notion of death. Both of my parents passed prior to me being in the age of 12, and I've had two near-death experiences myself, as well as interviewed. I've heard hundreds of near-death experiences firsthand, and I've interviewed several. If you are interested, I have a playlist called Near Death Experience Interview Playlist. But anyway, the point of my channel is to really show people we are more than just this. And we are way more than what our five senses are perceivingly limiting us to see. So I have divine messages for a lot of groups right now dealing with the notion of death in any way, shape, or form. Um, but, but, and before that happens, I later find out when I knew I had to make a video about this to spread the light to people and really get down to it for everybody. And I'm going to flesh it all out right here, right now. I learned that Al Pacino is actually nearing the quote unquote end of his life. And this makes now all the sense in the world. I believe his experience, and I believe that he said what he said, and it's out there for a reason, so that people, sorry, this one thing, can be curious and people can be curious, look into this, and hopefully gain hope. Because there is a lot. There's a reason I have this channel, and it is to show you all how much more you all actually are. We are all actually so much more than this. We signed up for this for many reasons. So thank God, when I found out he's nearing the end of his life, this is a call for love. And this is a call for love to society. This is where I fit in. Because prior, I was like, oh, thank God. Do I have off? There's a lot going on, right? My soul didn't let me take off for this. This is why I am here. This is why I survived many near-death experiences. This is why I survived many experiences prior and after that. And this is why I'm still on Earth. But aside from me, what matters more is you guys. And I'm about to give divine messages to many groups right now. Number one, anyone who's in Al Pacino's position or is named Al Pacino, but basically nearing the quote unquote end of their life, no worries. It is just the beginning. Number two, anyone that's ever quote unquote lost anyone to the quote unquote other side. Trust me, very familiar with you, and we'll get to you in a second. No problem. And number three, anyone who is nearing the quote unquote loss of someone to the other side. I'm going to outline it all for everyone in this video today, for the sake of why I'm here on this earth right now. It's not about me. It's honestly about you. I do much more of this in sessions, but this, I'm going to do whatever comes through. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do what I do now. So start with what's important. Anyone who is in Al Pacino's position where they are nearing quote unquote the end, or even thinking it's getting there whatsoever for whatever reason. And let's be honest, we're all going to face that one day, right? So this kind of applies to all of us. Well, I have a message for you. So this is for anyone that's in that position or is specifically named Al Pacino, which I'd be so honored to have listened to me, but everyone is equal in my eyes. So I'm honored to have anybody listen to me. Okay, ready? Anyone in that position? You must know that on some level, you already know what you signed up for. You already know deep down inside, whether you can access it or not, that this is barely a speck of sand on a vast beach of what is a cell of your existence. There is no death. There is no end. This is merely a continuation. You are limited right now in where you are, in a human body And these five senses we're told that we're perceiving through. But if you are in a position where you are transitioning due to what I feel is God's will and your higher self's will, know that you have served your time here. And every second that you put into this earth is billions and millions and immeasurable in terms of your spiritual growth and the growth of others. And there is no others, it's everything else. You've served such time here that it's inconsequential. It is beyond what you ever thought was possible. We are so limited as temporary human beings here. Trust me when I say, when you pass, it is merely a doorway into who you truly are. But the most important part is to let God decide. Let your higher self decide when that is, because the divine has a bird's eye divine view of what is truly best for you. We are limited here in our little human consciousnesses. We think right in front of us is what matters. Tuesday is what matters. This Wednesday is what matters. Whereas they have a bird's eye view, perspective-wise, of a whole other bigger picture that you actually signed up for and that would benefit your soul the most. So when God or your higher self or divine or whatever you want to call it decides it is time, and not you, not your human self, but the divine, know that this is not an end. This is an expansion. This is not a loss. This is an addition beyond what you ever thought in our limited human capacity was possible. Trust me, dear Al Pacino or anyone in their position, there's nothing to fear. Fear is an illusion made up by human logic. Humans is what made this matrix of logic. That's all we had. That's all we could go by to survive. But you'll know, if you ever pay attention to your intuition one day versus your logic one day, what always supersedes. Logic will always say one thing in grid thinking. Whereas if you go in your intuition, it connects to your true divine source. And it'll get there faster, better, easier, and beyond what you ever thought was possible. That is truth. So please, I will address you again at the end. If you are nearing the end of your life here, there is no end to anything. You'll be celebrating this life here for as long as you want, and you can come back to it for as long as you want. It is eternal. Anything that is love is real. Anything that you experienced here of love is real. And that is eternal. And you can visit that in any world that was and is for eternity. But you will have a vast expansion. You will be in such completion, such understanding, such calmness and at homeness that you'll look back at your best times here. And yes, you'll look at it through the lens of love, but you will think you were here for 1 second. You will understand that this existence was barely an atom of grain of sand on a vast beach that is an infinite universe where you are also the ocean, the stars, and the sky. It is beyond what you can think here. And that is okay. Just let go. Hold on to your, as we know it as humans, the oshit bar, and trust. And that oshit bar is the divine. That oshit bar to me is God, to me is Jesus, but to someone else, it is something else. And that is amazing. All true. Stay true to what is true in you, because it is, if it is made of love, it is 1,000,000% true. And that is the portal to the infinite, where you are so lucky to go because you've served your turn. And you will have access to everyone here. And if they can't hear it or see it yet, which trust me, they will, especially if they're watching this video till the end. If for some reason they can't, they'll be with you in 1 second. Time is such an illusion. Time is such an illusion. It's like when you go under anesthesia for something like a colonoscopy, but then you wake up a second later. Heaven, the real, true, divine truth is you waking up. Earth is like when you went to sleep, barely. It's like a second, you know? It's, you know, think about the whole life you lived before that anesthesia and the whole life you lived after. Beyond, way beyond that. And that little second of anesthesia is the time you spent on Earth, if that. All right, now I need to address, and I'll get back to you, important people, at the end, but now I need to address the people that are, that have, that are losing a loved one. Or, and then after that, I'm going to address people that have lost a loved one. Okay, ready? These are people that are by Al Pacino's side, by people that are like Al Pacino, their side. Someone who is, quote unquote, losing someone to the illusion of death. So I'm just going to be honest real quick as a human. I don't claim to know anything. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. And I'm smart enough to tell you that I don't know much. I am pretty deficit in everyday things that most people are very good at. But I am accelerant at things that many aren't. And one of those things is this. There are other weird things like figure skating or whatever, and that's just a matter of training. But I always knew, thank God I was given, and everybody has this. It's just how much to a degree that they force it down as a result of human conditioning. But after my dad passed when I was 6, I would speak to him and I would see him and I would interact with him. And then my mom passed when I was 11. And I didn't know how to do that. It was as if I never knew. But there was a lot of stuff in between that was interesting that I remember. And then I got hit by a car and had a traumatic brain injury and had to get brain surgery and all that stuff. You know, a lot of psychics like to say that's when I got my gifts. I didn't know I had gifts. I was very focused on human things like everybody else. But I don't know. I definitely spoke to my dad prior to that. But the point is this. If you're about to, we're just going to get into it. If you're about to lose a loved one, I'm going to just give you some. So the point is I've had a lot of experience in this. And due to me feeling like I've had to raise myself from age 12 on, and really kind of earlier on. There's a lot that I'm not even mentioning. Okay. Um, a lot of layers there where I've had to, out of curiosity, I managed to develop these spiritual gifts I didn't realize I had. But we all have them. So it's as if I was sort of thrown in a hole, right? And I had to use my muscles to get out of it because I had the will to. And that's what developed my muscles, right? Whereas if somebody could still have the same muscles as me, right? But if they weren't thrown in a hole and had to use those muscles on a constant basis to like survive, maybe they didn't have to develop them. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a little background. My mom and dad were intellectuals. My mom was Italian, a little German, and there was a lot going on her end. She was the assistant head dean of Cornell, and there's a whole story behind that. And then my dad was a history philosophy professor at Columbia who wrote books that graduate students that he taught actually had to buy to graduate. And it was called Question of the Elites. He's actually from Europe. The point is, but then I was raised by this Italian family who were my whole heart. And that's a whole other chapter that is huge in my life that I was separated from, and it's the whole thing. But the point is this. The point is this. I totally straight. We all have these gifts, right? So if you're about to lose a loved one, know this. Here we go. On some intuitive level, very deep level, there is no loss. Loss is an illusion. There's never loss. We only gain. Any relationship you have here that has any love is eternal. Anything made of love is eternal. When you were first born into this world, you remember how you can communicate with those that are not in this limited realm. It is this conditioning that we faced that limited us throughout life for our survival. If you are, quote unquote, losing a loved one, know there is no loss. That loved one will still be with you, just not in the way your limited consciousness is used to. However, if you wanted to relax and expand that, you could have better conversations with them afterwards when they're right there all the time in their most expanded state with you 24/7, with the patience they never had, with the love they always had, but was filtered through earth goggles from us, earth glasses and lenses from us, earth conditions from them. Not their fault. They will be there for you in a better way. And you could ask them something, talk to them, and get responses quicker than if they were physically here. We have it backwards. We have it with thinking that physical is real. Physical is here. Physical. No. Physical is limited. We signed up for limited so that we can grow even more, right? So they're in the non-physical, which is actually a very expanded state, which means time's an illusion. They could be there for you 24/7, which means their consciousness isn't limited. They'll be more understanding than you thought possible. which means knowledge is unlimited. They have a divine understanding now. They are in the totality of their whole selves and they're with you 24/7. They did not leave, they joined. And I employ people to become their own medium so that they can speak to their loved ones after they passed as fluidly, but more so than if they were here. Because they are here. They are here more than they ever were. It's as if we live in a world that's only showing us one sliver. They're right here. They're right here. It's our vision that is limited. They're right. If you expand things that are not just five senses, you will hear them, you will see them, you will feel them. It is beyond these senses that the truth is felt. And if anyone wants to know how to do that, please contact me at Soul Spa University on Instagram because I'll actually get that message. But I've also made many videos on how to do such a thing. So don't worry, it's all there if you search, because that's what I'm here for. But I'm here, in case you're not ready for that just yet, to tell you there is no end. It is just a transition and just the beginning of a whole expanded relationship on you guys' end that you knew prior to them coming to Earth, that you knew prior to you coming to Earth. These roles we're in, these costumes we're in, it's limited. Time's limiting it, identities are limiting it, definitions are limiting it. But you guys' soul bond is not limited. You chose to be in the same life for a reason, and you served time for a reason, and you knew each other before this life, you know each other after this life. Time's an illusion. Trust me, everything's fine. Okay. Need I say more to the third group who have already lost loved ones, right? Need I say lost? If you've heard up in before this, you'll know you did not lose them. It feels that way, and I understand. I understand completely. And it doesn't mean I'm not a human with compassion. If I hear anyone's lost anyone, my eyes water up like crazy. I am in total access to my feelings, and I could be a waterfall because I get it. I get it more than most. So I get that the human illusion is very deceiving in so many ways. It makes us think we're causing reality. Like it makes us think that that reality is affecting us, right? It makes us feel like all there is physical, right? And that's why I'm a manifestation coach, because we're affecting reality. And we're so much more than physical. I didn't go through what I was put through for no reason. I had to think back. This is going to seem off topic, but it's not. I had to think back a lot. I was trained from age before I could even walk to be on the ice on figure skates. And because of that, I was pre-Olympian by the time I was like 12. And then everyone died. So I couldn't go to my lessons as much, but I was doing double axles by 12. And my sister was as well. She was a little older than me. But then I got shipped around from whoever to whoever. I got hit by a car, brain injury, this, that, the other. And I had to think for a while. Even when I started my spiritual journey, it wasn't until later. I didn't know anything about this, but I had to think for a while. Why did I go through all that work? Why did I go through all that work for nothing to come out of it? It wasn't like it was my choice to figure skate. You had to choose something, and we stuck with it and became good. It's just math. But why did all that work not add up? Right? And then it came to me because when you go inside and you reach up, you have access to all the answers because you are your higher self. You have all the answers if you want. And it came to me. And everyone's story is different. So every figure skater out there has amazing stories. Every athlete out there has amazing stories. Every whatever out there has amazing stories. Mine, I was told for me, happened to be because we didn't need another figure skater story. And that doesn't mean they're not credible. They're amazing. They're amazing. Everyone that's good at their field is amazing. I was told that's not what you were put here for. We didn't need another story like that. We needed a story that was this. And I was shown what I went through, what I triumphed on my own, what I developed as a result of me seeking. The reason why I mentioned my dad's book prior is because I was told by a neighbor several years ago what it was about. Because apparently it was illegible. It's so intelligent. It's called A Question of the Elites. And someone explained to me what it was referring to in history and what it was really regarding. And it's so funny because history wise, I'm like, am I related to him? Because I'm really not good. My brain's not good at history, even though I love like period pieces or whatever. But what I am good at, what I'm interested in is philosophy. He happened to be history, philosophy graduate professor. So it said in there that one's will surpass the odds of others' DNA. So scientifically, so I'm all about science and like spirituality merging. I used to write poems about it. So scientifically, like there are genes that have better um like they would be more prone to winning things, say, or succeeding at certain things, right? But what my dad's book apparently wrote and referenced amazing things and his own thoughts, I bet, was that, but it's someone's will that would define whether they win or not. It doesn't matter about the genes at all, which is so odd when I learned that's what he wrote because that's what I've been empowering people for. So that I don't know, I forgot why that got brought up. But basically, if anyone is facing anything, know that it's your will that will help you survive. Know that it's it's all about your spirit. Everything is energy. Um, just if you've ever lost a loved one, you could talk to them anytime. Anytime. It will be as fluid, more so than if they were here. And I have videos on that. If you want more on that, that is exactly what I do. Please Instagram me. I would be happy to have a session with you. That is why I am here. I remember when I first, I got married and divorced really young. I got married at 18 and, you know, in Florida and got back to New York and was doing whatever to get out of that by the time I was 24. But the point is that put me through a lot. But I remember early on, so he was in the Navy and he would work the night shift. And I was going through this whole like housewife doing all the chores thing. but also going to college and maintaining a job. So to make it less boring when I was doing all these chores at age like 17, uh, I would like microdose some alcohol into Gatorade or whatever. I was very young. And it would open up doors for me in my brain. And basically, I would start writing if I were to talk to my mom, what she would say. And I was so embarrassed that I shared that with him. So, like, oh my God, so embarrassed for years until one day in my 20s, I was listening to the radio or something while I was cleaning my apartment. And I heard the term automatic writing. And I knew exactly what it was intuitively. And there's many things I know intuitively exactly what they are. And so will you. So will you if you haven't already. We are awakening more and more as a collective. There's so much we know. Anything you want to know is inside of you. But if you were called to this video today to give you a little nudge, a little hint, totally good. That is why I'm here still. So, oh, I know I mentioned my dad's book. I'm sorry. So basically, it depends how you react to things, right? I could have been down in the dumps about everything all the time. Yeah, yeah. But I went through the storm for survival, and my consciousness would constantly ask questions, the right questions, not always the right questions, the questions regardless. And that is the point. You're never going to be perfect, but keep going, right? And eventually you will get the answers, right? My will to keep going led me to enhance my spiritual beliefs, like not even beliefs, abilities, led me to discover them. Okay. There was no schooling involved. We could do this in house in our own bodies. And I think I'm still here because I went through, like I said, if I was getting out of a hole every day with those same muscles over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, the math result is that I happen to be really fit, right? So spiritually, I happen to be in a way that has been worked a lot and gotten me here and continues to study. So I'm not better than anyone else. I've just been in circumstances that has caused me to have to seek out survival to degrees, right? To get me the answers to whatever. So, what I'm saying is, you are totally the same level as me. But if you haven't, for whatever reason, or haven't accessed exactly what I have, because none of us are the same, we're all differently shaped puzzle pieces. And I can benefit you in some way, or at least teach you how to access it in yourself. I would absolutely love to. That is why I'm here. But more importantly, anyone that is at all worried about the notion of death, know number one, every second you spend here on earth in this existence, in your identity now, is so important. I don't care if you are sitting on the couch your entire life watching TV. It matters. It matters. And anything you do beyond that matters. Every second you spend on earth is like billions of dollars and years and huge ripples in the eternal universe. And they are all applauding you no matter what. Know that you are never alone in a good way, in a very, very good way, and that you will never be alone, and that every second here matters. So that's first and foremost, okay? If fate, God, your divine self, like anything that is above, I hate to say above you, nature, if it is your time, not by a human limited choice, because trust me, you need to be here. You need to be here. You will be so happy. You will be so happy you served your full time. Okay. Because it matters so much. Okay. But if for whatever reason you or anyone you know or anyone you have known has transitioned, know that there is zero death. It is a walk into a much more expanded, I don't even want to say room. You were in a cubicle and now you're in a world. And you could visit that cubicle whenever you want, and you're with it whenever you want. You're omnipresent, and it's an amazing, amazing eternal experience. But trust me, when you look back at your life on earth here, you will see how much every second matters. So always serve every second you can, have every second you can on earth because you signed up for it. Your higher self did for a very important reason. And there's even a wait list for Earth because every second here is huge currency, huge, huge, eternal gems. No matter what you think is going on or not going on, you are generating eternal gems just by being on Earth because you signed up for it and you made it. And just that alone is huge. So let's get beyond our ego thing of what anyone looks like, what you look like, anything. No one's perfect. No one's has figured out at all. We're all just figuring it out together. And let's walk each other home, not purposely, but in love. If anyone needs me for any reason, please find me on Soul Spa University on Instagram, Soul Space Spa Space University. Otherwise, I have a Soul Spa University at gmail.com. Hopefully, my email will tell me that someone emailed me. Probably not. So, Instagram's the best way. And liking, sharing, and subscribing is huge to me. So huge. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. You are why I do this channel. And if anyone has any calling to donate whatsoever, you have no idea how much anything means to my heart to know that someone somewhere is listening. I hope that this did what it was intended for. I hope that whatever divine messages you can hear through this recording, you heard, because you were meant to, especially if you're still here right now, you are meant to hear all of it. And that is why I'm still here. And that is why you're still listening. It is divine. It is beyond me. And it is technically beyond you, but it's to you and for you. It's from your higher self and from God. And please let it guide you in the most way it can, because nothing is by accident. And nothing is happening to you. It's all happening for you. Until next time, guys, I love you and namaste.